piece, I can't leave it. I always have to buy it.
It's called Grandma Cottagecore Chic.
There you go.
You can get stuff that is very good quality at a fraction of the price. That's a really good opportunity. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. So sorry. I'm sleepy. I woke up at 5:45 this morning.
Toddler probs.
Yeah. It's like you have one or the other. He either sleeps for only 1 hour the whole day, but wakes up at 7, or he sleeps for his full 2-hour nap, but wakes up at 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
5:45, 6 o'clock.
And they won't figure that out for a lot of years. So, yeah.
No.
We have a fun podcast today. We are going to talk about things
Cheers.
you should always look for and buy at the thrift store. Good deals.
So brands
Yes.
that we're going to talk about, brands of things that you should be looking for, styles, materials,
Yes.
all of that stuff.
All of that stuff. Yeah. And this is really good for if you want quality things in your home from the thrift store that you should look for, or if you want things to thrift and flip and make money on.
Right. So if you are someone who needs a bunch of new kitchen stuff, and we can talk about that, or if you're
Yep.
someone who wants to, go to your flea market and make a little bit of extra money, then this would be helpful as well.
Or marketplace. Yeah. Yeah.
Or marketplace, that's true.
Okay. So let's start at the top of the list. The first thing that I have on my list is things that you should always buy at the thrift store. Vintage, high quality kitchenware.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So, which I get maybe, well, we both kind of buy a lot of stuff for our kitchen from the thrift store.
Yes.
I maybe buy more things that are like utility based, so things I'm actually going to use, whereas you maybe buy more things that just look nice. Would that be true?
Yes, that's true, because you are the cook, the baker, the meal prepper, and I'm really good at just eating and snacks and not using
Snacking.
them. James is the cooker in our place, so he cooks, I clean, and but we still always, when we go to the thrift store, look for good quality stuff that we can buy at a fraction of the price.
So the first thing that I look for always, even though I definitely have enough and I don't need any more, is cast iron. Anything cast iron.
Yes.
Because it is really expensive.
Yeah.
And it is truly something that if you take care of, it will last forever. Like that is something that you can hand down.
And I do find that a lot of cast iron ends up at the thrift store because people don't know how to take care of it. So they get it, they use it 3 or 4 times, everything sticks to it, and they donate it. So if you can learn how to take care of it, there's always lots there that you can find.
It's also heavy and bulky, and like it's a lot to have in your kitchen if you're not using it a lot, like for a bunch of different things. So it's definitely always there. One of the things that I kind of a good tip that I like with cast iron, and you'll start to notice as you're looking, especially if you've bought in a new cast iron pot, is, and I don't really know why they did this, maybe it helps with cooking or something, but new cast irons have a lot more texture to them. So the actual metal is almost like almost sandpapery texture, not like it's smooth, it's not rough, but it does have a little bit more texture to it. Whereas older cast iron is very smooth, like you have that really sheen surface. And I have a smaller, just like a little, probably like 6-inch, 8-inch cast iron that is an old vintage one, and it's super smooth on the cooking side. And I like that one better than any of my new ones because it is so nonstick, because it's so smooth, and as long as you oil it properly, it will always stay like that. So that's kind of why I always look for cast iron, is because I actually like the old style cast iron better than the new style cast iron.
And one way to find out when you're thrifting, and if you find one, is look for the maker and then Google it and you'll find out if it's an older maker or if it's a new one. Or you can do a Google reverse image of the pan. I don't know, cast iron might be a little bit hard to do it that way
Yeah.
because they all kind of look the same. But do a little bit of research and you might find that you found a treasure that's worth lots, and you just need to season it up and you're going to have a beautiful cast iron pan.
And if it looks busted, like if the pan
Yeah.
looks bad,
Yeah.
like it's, rusty, there's big hunks on it, they are never not like salvageable.
Yeah.
Cast iron pans, like you can the worst cast iron pan that you've ever seen, you can bring it back to looking perfect again. You just got to put in like a little bit of that elbow grease. And so even if it looks crazy and you're like, "Oh my god, that looks so bad." Still buy it because you can redeem it if it's something that you want and you're looking for.
And I have seen actually YouTube videos of people that find them in rubbish and pull them out and bring them back to life. So you're exactly right, that can be done.
Yeah.
The next thing is my obsession right now:
Mhm.
pottery and
Yeah.
stoneware.
I've been buying a
Lo-
lot of it too, actually.
I love it. I love finding a good handmade piece of pottery. Um, and it's also at a fraction of price. I always like to support. I mean, if you're at a craft show or you have a and you're in a shop and there's pottery, it's always nice to support your local crafters, but it's also really nice to find some at the thrift store for a fraction of the price and that it's beautiful. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you can always look, like, sometimes you'll look at the bottom and there'll be an inscription, and you can tell if someone has just made this at
Yeah.
a pottery class and they've just gotten rid of it. Like, those are kinda cool too. Even though they might not look perfect, it's like a funky mug that you can add. And I also like opening my cupboard and seeing a bunch of different mugs
I
instead of
know.
just
I
like a uniform.
I actually probably have too much right now, and every time I go out and if I find a piece, I can't leave it. I always have to buy it. So I'm maybe at my max limit for pottery, but yeah, I love finding it. So and it also is really good to flip and make a little bit of money on too. If you find a good piece for a really good price, you can maybe on Marketplace double your money on it if you're finding something. So, yeah. And I used to have an obsession for this. I don't
Mhm.
anymore. I've kind of moved now onto the pottery, but Pyrex and Fire King. Do you remember when I went through that?
I know Pyrex, but I don't necessarily remember Fire King.
So it's the same style kind of that 50s, 60s, 70s
Mhm.
dishware. It's just a different company name. So Pyrex is a
Okay.
company and Fire King is a company also. And there's people that are like huge hardcore collectors of the Pyrex and the Fire King.
Yeah.
You don't see it as much as you used to at the thrift store, but I think that's because there's more people looking for it because they know the value in it.
Well, and I think that kind of came back in style. Like for a while, it was like you want the uniform, really like basic modern cookware, like everything is the same. And now a kind of mix match version is coming back where people want the kind of unique looking stuff. Very hot tip though, when you're buying anything that you know you are going to put food on or you know that you're going to cook with, please, please, please look it up and look at the what it's made out of, because there are things in there that still have lead, or maybe it was painted with something that is no longer able. So if it is something that you are cooking on, just look it up before and make sure that it is still safe to eat food out of, because that does
Yeah.
happen sometimes.
There's a difference because I know a lot of collectors, they just put it on a shelf and it's never
Yeah.
used in their kitchen, but if you're planning on using it, yeah, that's a really great tip to do that. Um, and the big thing that I see a lot of people collecting is the Pyrex stacking mixing bowls.
Yeah. Okay. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of times you'll find one, and this is kind of like the treasure hunt of people that are Pyrex collectors. The hunt of you found one mixing bowl, now you have to go and find, you got to keep hunting to find the second and the third and the fourth bowl to make the whole collection because it's not very often that you find all of them together.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Maybe I'll
But
look. I'll look for them now.
yeah, I know they're lots of fun to find. Copper. which is something I've never really had much of.
I don't use a ton of copper. I think for actually they're beautiful. I love the look at them. I think the utility of them is not super great. I don't think they like conduct heat very well. It's a little
Mhm.
uneven. Stainless steel is a lot better for that, but I love the look of them. And I think it would be if you had like a glass door where you had a bunch of them, like I think that would look really nice.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people do is they collect that copper cookware and it's more to display, and it also has a really good resale value too. All of these things that we're mentioning, again, you can remember use your Google search when
Mhm.
you're finding something. Take a picture of it and it'll bring up thousands of comparables and you can see what it's worth. So you can cross reference what you're paying for it, what it's worth. Am I going to take it home? From there. Plus, it's always really fun. I love going to the thrift store and finding stuff and then, taking a picture of it and then looking it up and going, oh, wow, this is so cool. This was made by, so and so, and it was from the 40s. And it's kind of neat to do that.
Yeah, it's a thrill of the hunt. You like
Yeah.
you go towards something because you like it, and then you're like, oh, I wonder if this is something that could be, and you look it up and it's like worth $80, and you're like, damn, maybe not enough to like resell it because you like it, but
Yeah.
it
But you're
definitely if
only
you find one in
paying,
the future.
yeah. And you're only paying like $4.99 for it. And it's, worth $80.
Hmm.
And it's, you've got some value in that.
And I do find especially with kitchen stuff because it is kind of like uh, you're always dependent on the people working there if they know what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of the kitchen stuff passes by them
Yeah.
unless it's like Pyrex, which is very obvious.
Yeah.
But a lot of it because the brands aren't as well known, they don't have like name recognition. It just looks like any other old pan. So like it's you can get really good deals on it because it's something that is not known, whereas like clothes everyone knows what the brand name and high name of clothes are, so it's the is always a great place to go, and like especially if you need stuff. And I think I mentioned stainless steel is another good one to look out for if you cook on stainless steel, because again like stainless steel is even more finicky than cast iron, and so a lot of people I get rid of stainless steel for that reason.
Yeah.
And I found a really really good stainless steel kind of saucepan, and I use it every day. I probably
Yeah.
paid $1 for it, and it the thing with stainless is when you get it, if they have a really thick heavy bottom, then you know it's really really good quality.
Yeah.
So if that's something you like to cook on, definitely pick those up. And they're kind of cast iron and stainless steel are kind of like really coming back in fashion because people don't want
Teflon.
nonstick anymore as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Something else that we have a lot of that James cooks with all the time is the enamelware.
Oh yeah, I have my Dutch oven like that. Yeah.
Is it Lagostina?
That's a big brand, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the one I have, but
Ours are
that and
orange. They're like the orange, set,
yeah.
and we
Yeah.
use them all the time. They're really good.
What's the main La Crusette or
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
that are
yeah, yeah.
so expensive.
Yes. And you can
That one would
find
be
them every once in a while. They pop up and you can see
yeah.
them.
That's one that is kinda because again, the brand name is hard. They actually have a new thing out where because I cook all my bread in just my Dutch oven, with my regular Dutch oven, but they came out with, a Dutch oven, but that's specifically for cooking bread. So it's the
Mm,
exact same shape, and it's something that, like, you don't really need, and it's, like, $200, and it's definitely, like, you just want it because you want it, but it's really nice.
yeah. Keep hunting. You'll find it.
That'll be a hard find because it, like, just came out. They always have really nice colors too.
Yeah. Okay, so that covers high quality and vintage kitchenware that you need to look at or look for. The next thing is solid wood furniture,
Yeah.
which in my area is very easy to find. Uh, I
Not so
don't
much
have
mine.
I know, and it really depends on the area where you live. We live in kind of it's not an urban area. It's kind of farm community, smaller towns, a lot of antique homes. an older community. So when someone passes or the estate comes, there's all of this solid furniture from, the 40s and 50s that ends up in the thrift store. So I always see really good quality vintage furniture, and that's great to pick up. It's great to refinish because it's not a laminate, it's not cheap IKEA furniture. You can do a lot with it, and it still looks beautiful.
Yeah, that's the difference. Because if you find something that is solid wood and it's got like scratches or dings or maybe the paint's a little uneven, that is something that you can sand down
Yeah.
and fix. Whereas like the laminate, you can't really do that.
No, you're in a mess if you're trying to fix that kind of stuff. And then you're trying to fix it and you still have a really cheap piece of furniture that doesn't have a lot of character. So, if you
Yeah.
live in an area where you can find that the dressers and hutches and side tables, then you're lucky. Like me, I have got some really beautiful pieces lately, especially for our new home when we need so much furniture. I found some really nice pieces.
And it
And
just is better. It's more well built. Like it's going to
yeah,
last you longer.
oh, 100%. And the other thing, wooden chairs. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember the last time I actually bought a brand new chair, like wooden chairs. I've
Yeah.
always found them at the thrift store. They're better, they're made better quality. You can paint them if you want, you can strip them if you want. And I noticed like the stuff that you're buying at like the Brick and Leon's and that kind of stuff, they have a finish on it that scratches so easy and it shows
Mm.
everything. Um, so it's nice when you can find pieces like that and you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and I really like the look right now with chairs when you kind of have like different chairs,
Yeah.
different style, like not wildly different, but maybe all those like high back wooden ones,
Yeah.
but you have different ones all around your table. So then you're not even locked into trying to find a set. You can just find a couple. And if you want to upholster them as well, maybe they look a little bit different with the way that the wood is carved, but you can put all the same cushions on them
Yep,
and
and
do
they
that. Like that
and
would be
pull it all
cool.
together. Yeah,
Mhm.
and, in our area anyways on Marketplace, if you have a solid wooden table and 4 chairs on Marketplace, it's gone. They sell
Yeah.
really quickly.
Mhm.
And then as you get the bigger table, like that in between table where you get up to like from 4 to 6 chairs, they always sell really well. And then when you get up to like the harvest tables, the bigger ones that have like 8 chairs, I find they don't sell as well because people don't have the room for them. Most people don't
Yeah.
have like a great big huge living room.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you found a good deal at the thrift store with a wooden table and chairs, flip it on Marketplace, and if you can get it for a good deal, and you can probably make some money on it.
And oftentimes it doesn't take much to really like bring it back up without doing like a full overhaul. Like you
No.
what was that in one of your old videos you had like a stain thing that you put on that like hid a bunch of scratches and
Oh, the
like you could
Howard's
just
Restore-A-Wear.
yeah, like just do that and it
Yep.
would look way better instantly.
Yeah, and actually the dining room set that we have,
Mhm.
I haven't had time yet, but it needs to be scrubbed down and use that Restore finish, and that's the other thing. I bought a 2 hutches, a dining room table, 6 chairs, and a huge long buffet, and I don't think all combined we paid $500. And it
Whoa.
is gorgeous. It's ornate. It does have a little bit of scratches and dings, and I'm going to do an actual video of fixing up all of those pieces and show you how to bring it back to life. But like, if you were to go to a furniture store and buy all that stuff, thousands and thousands of dollars. So
Yeah. And I would say out of anything that you can flip or you can buy and resell, like solid wood furniture, more of like the big pieces, like the dressers, the hutches,
yeah,
side tables, even bookshelves, everything, like that will be your best bang for your buck
yeah,
because people I even know for myself, like people want them. They're so expensive to buy new.
yeah,
And people are willing to drop maybe 100, 200, 250 on these things because they're $700 new.
yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah. And the other thing is bookshelves,
Mhm.
which I know you love. You love a good bookshelf behind you. Yeah.
That's one of 5 or 6 I have in my house now. I
Yeah.
just keep getting more books and then I'm filling them, and then it starts to look cluttered because I have books shoved into all these things, and then I look at my husband, I say, "Oh, we have to get another bookshelf." And he's like, "Great," because he's the one who has to carry all the books out every time we move.
I know. But you can yeah, usually you can find like real good wood bookshelves. Actually, a really great hack of what I like upcycling or repurposing into a bookshelf is all the time you see the hutches and they're like two pieces. It's got the bottom and then it's
Mhm,
got the glass door top. And a lot of
mhm.
times they're not attached, they're just sat on top of each other. They were really popular in the 60s and 70s. I have seen a lot of people take just that top part and mount it on the wall, take the doors off, and then
Oh.
you have a beautiful bookshelf.
Oh, I never
And
thought about that.
I know, and I actually have a little nook in our basement that I'm gonna turn into a little reading corner, and I think I'm gonna be on the lookout for one of those, and,
That's a good idea.
yeah, and it always has like, they always have way more detail and ornate finishes and stuff like that, so, yeah.
That's also a good tip for reselling is think outside the box when you're looking for stuff. Could
Yeah,
this turn into something else? Is it a good base and you could maybe turn it into something else that people might want more or maybe a little different style, but it's like it's solid wood, it was made well,
yeah,
and that could be something that you could look for as
yeah,
well.
exactly. My next obsession that we're gonna talk about that you should always, always look for at the thrift store, do you know what it is?
Um oil picture frames.
Yeah. Oil
Sorry.
paintings. I love finding original oil paintings. And this is just kind of something new that I just started. Uh, and you know how when you start collecting something, before you start collecting something, you see them everywhere all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. And then when you think, okay, now I think I want to start doing something with this. I think I want to decorate with some oil paintings. Gone. You never see them anymore.
That was me with curtains last week. I was like, "Oh, I need curtains." No curtain ever existed in the world ever.
I know. So, but I have had some really good luck for this place here, and I've got some beautiful oil paintings. And all I really had to do was just maybe touch up the frames a little bit, paint them, and always, always take a photo and do a reverse image search on your oil paintings because
Even not even just oil, like sketches and stuff.
yeah, because sometimes, especially if it's an original, then it is might be worth something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And one of the nice things is that I'm starting to notice that a lot of times people get rid of picture frames or whatever, and you turn them around and realize that they've been professionally mounted.
Yeah.
So even if you don't you like the thing inside, but you like the frame, like pick that up because I don't know if you've looked at how much it costs to frame something nowadays.
Yeah.
Hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, I know it's expensive. And also if I find a frame that I really, really love and I'm not really fussy with the picture that's in it, I always pick up that ornate frame and just kind of put it in my stash and wait for something to come along to switch it out into.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, and also again, definitely resale value because new is so, like, I feel like anything where new is really expensive, you have an opportunity because you could sell it at half the cost and still make a lot of money because half the cost is still $100.
Yeah, exactly. And the ornate and you don't find the ornate frames like you do at the thrift store too. And that could
Mm-mm.
be something that also is really good to resell on marketplace because gallery walls are so popular right now. So people are
Mhm.
looking for pictures and things to add into their gallery walls.
And gallery walls that are not with the same frame over and over and over again.
Right, yeah. Yeah, something that looks vintage and kind of just kind of that shabby chic look.
And you know what I'm noticing? Because I've been doing some redecorating and like looking at inspiration and watching some videos and stuff, and I find that when, like, say you have a style, especially a style that is like meant to be kind of older, like for grandma chic or like the
Yeah.
academia or whatever.
Cottage core.
Yeah. And people are doing that style, but with new items.
Yeah.
And to me, it always just looks off. Like
Yeah.
it always just looks a little like weird because everything is, even though it's styled or like it's made to be in the way where it's supposed to look old or vintage or antique, like it just looks off.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's always worth it to go and find something that actually is 20, 30, 40 years old, has those dings, has that character, cuz then when you put it in your space, like it feels like there's life in it already. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel brand new.
Yeah, and not just oil paintings, needle points, cross stitch,
Mhm.
tapestry, like there's chalk paintings and pencil drawings, like there's so many beautiful prints out there that people just get rid of and they just donate them and you can find some really beautiful stuff to put all
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
And I do find like especially in a gallery wall, texture is important to
Yeah.
kind of mix it up. Like though if you find a cool needlepoint and that can be in your gallery wall, like it adds so much character
Yeah.
to that space that is like you can kind of look at it before and it just seems flat. And then as
Yeah.
soon as you put a couple pieces like that in, it totally transforms it and makes it look so much better. And I actually heard of, this is just a tip for when you're looking for frames and stuff and when you're decorating, and it's like completely changed the way that I look at things now.
Mhm.
But this, I forget who it was, and I would have shouted her out if I remembered. But I watched a video and she said so many people, like amateurs, go and decorate a space, and most of the things you buy, it's all square. Everything's square. Everything has
Mm.
sharp angles. It's all rectangles, squares, whatever. So then you decorate your room and you're like, ah, it just looks
Yeah.
cold and weird. And she's like, you need to find rounded shapes and add them in, and things
Yeah.
that have like not sharp corners. And
Yeah.
now when I've done that, it totally changes the room.
Yeah. I
Even
agree.
just with like
Yeah.
a little, like a circular frame with a
Yeah.
picture in it. Like
Yeah.
I was like mind blown because it's something that I never thought about before. But that's what makes your room look professional as opposed to amateur. And
Yeah.
it was such a good tip.
That's a really great tip, and it's also you shouldn't also have everything in the same tone and color.
Mhm.
So, like, different types of wood with a brass ornate oval frame and just kinda mix and match them all up,
Yeah,
and
you
those
can have,
are
like, a color scheme, like, with
yeah,
wood I do, like, I want warm woods as
yes,
opposed to cool woods, but I'm not
yeah,
gonna put all walnut in or something.
yeah, exactly, and again, people are looking for stuff like that to create their own gallery walls. If you're looking to flip stuff like that at the thrift store, I would take your time, put a box together of 6 or 7 pieces and then sell them all together as a
Mm,
lot,
mhm.
and you might be surprised how you could make some extra cash doing that.
You know what you could do? I just thought of a great business idea.
Mhm.
So, you go and find picture frames,
Yeah.
and you redo the frames, they're, like, cool, one of a kind, you sell them as, like, a 6 to 7 pre-made gallery wall, and then you have an Etsy store with digital art, and people can go and put digital art in the frames that they pick out.
Which we have some digital art.
We do.
Yes, we have
Mhm.
quite a few actually in our Etsy store. If you are looking for some stuff to frame, you should have a look through our Etsy store because I have some really nice moody landscape photos, and we should put actually a whole bundle together. Good idea.
For a gallery wall?
Yeah, yeah. And
Good
do them
idea.
all 8 by 10, but you can still size them, but do just kind of things that would look really good in a gallery wall and put a bundle together. We'll do that.
Mhm.
Put it on our to-do list, Kirst.
Okay. I'll add it to the list.
The next thing that you should always look for at the thrift store is quality textiles. So
Mm.
that would be quilts, linens, tablecloths, and You can tell very quickly when you're at the thrift store what is good quality and what is not good quality
Mhm.
when you're looking at that kind of stuff.
Weight, if you pick up curtains and they're, like, heavy,
Yeah.
then,
Yeah. And even just like tablecloths, you can find some really beautiful tablecloths, not only linen ones, but handmade ones that have been crocheted. And it's fun to sort through all that kind of stuff. And
Do
again, they're
you
really highly collectible, and some of them are worth some money.
do you think people still use tablecloths?
I think it's coming back. And you know why I think it's coming back is because I think there's a lot of people that love to decorate with that um, cottage core or granny. I don't know what the actual name of it, but it's like,
It's called Grandma Cottagecore Chic.
there
I
you
actually
go.
don't know.
Right. So, and I think that's where a lot of that comes in is putting down a beautiful tablecloth. And yeah.
Have you heard of, the because with my generation and, like, our age group is, like, everything is, like, an aesthetic. Like, it's
Yes.
like, "This is my aesthetic. This is what I" whatever. Like, my friend came over, Daphne, and, like, we're, like,
Yeah.
complete opposites.
Yeah.
So she got a new apartment and she's decorating, like, she's putting, like, cherries on the wall and, like, 70s, like, pink everywhere. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Jesus Christ." This is so not my like, that's what she wants. I forget what it's hers was like pop princess 70s whatever aesthetic. And
Yeah.
like my aesthetic is like definitely dark academia. Like
Yeah.
I've told Rot, which he doesn't really totally agree with my decorating, but I said the minute you start decorating yourself, then you have a say, but you're not.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it. But like in my house, I want at any point to like light a candle and read a book. That's what I want it to
Yes.
feel like.
Yeah.
So that's like dark academia aesthetic.
Yeah.
But then there's a part of me in the spring that kind of wants to go into like the Nancy Myers aesthetic. So
Yeah.
do you know what that is?
No, I don't know that one.
So you should look that up because Nancy Myers is a female director
Okay.
and she has done movies like It's Complicated, what was it? Not Bride. Here Comes the Bride or something with Steve Martin. But
Okay.
her aesthetic is like that old white Victorian home with like linen tablecloths, like a bunch of clay dishes. Google it when you're done this, and you'll be like, "This
Okay.
is what I."
Okay.
But you can watch the movies, and it feels very like warm. And her set decoration for that has all like it's people are obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So that is like an aesthetic that maybe is like why the grandma chic cottagecore is coming back because
It
people love
might
to watch
be. Yeah.
those.
Which would lean right into looking for those quality textiles. And actually,
Mhm.
the textiles look really beautiful. Even just folded up in a cabinet. Like if you have a cabinet with a glass door, and you can kind of see into it. It's gorgeous if you have those linens kind of folded and stacked up, and you can just kind of peek through and see all those different textures. And it's a great way to add some decor to your house because a lot of times those linens are not expensive at all.
Yeah, and I feel like even like just for myself, like I am someone who wants like my towels, my blankets, my sheets, all of that. Like I want them to be good quality because I don't want to have to keep buying them. Like those
Yeah.
are things that I want to last forever.
Yeah.
But it's getting so hard to afford that. Like it
Yeah.
because they're hundreds and hundreds of dollars to buy a towel set or to buy, a really nice fully cotton blanket. Like or sheets, like linen sheets. Like they're just it's everything is getting so expensive and I feel like one of the only options unless you have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars is going to the thrift store and finding them
Yeah.
and then being able to have something that A is going to last a while, B is good quality without, buying new. Like I just don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
like I don't know how you do it unless you're like
Yeah. No,
you just end up with crap stuff.
yeah, yeah, and then your sheets are pilling, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. And I think with that kind of stuff, you just have to be patient. You just kind of have to wait out. and know that eventually you're going to find what you're looking for, and
Mhm.
you'll find something good quality. Something else that we didn't touch on with the quality textiles are, and I see them again, I see them a lot here because of where we are in more of a farming community, small towns, handmade quilts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we see a lot. And a lot of times I see them and they're damaged. So you know that they've been really well loved and they've been put through a lot. But head to Pinterest, pick up a quilt, head to Pinterest, and the inspiration of what you can do with those quilts is unbelievable. Number
You
one,
can do them on the wall.
yeah, you can hang them as a tapestry. I've seen people frame them. I have seen them just folded up, like we were talking about, putting linens in a cabinet. Um, People turn them into jackets, people or
Mhm.
like clothing, and yeah, there's so much that you can do for them. Again, it's kind of fun when you find those, and especially if there's a pattern on them, take a picture of it so you can do some research into it, find out what the pattern is, because all of those patterns used to have they have a name, they have, like I
Like a sewing pattern, you mean?
yeah, like the quilting name for it, so it's just kind of fun to do some research. And
Mhm.
I don't know a lot about quilts, but that is something that you could look into. And
Remember
don't go hacking up a quilt until you actually know what it is and if it's worth anything or not.
remember when you used to make quilts and they never covered anyone's feet because you made them like 2 feet too short?
I know, I made baby quilts for you guys, and well, you weren't even babies, you were, like, in
No, I was like
school.
12 and you made them and then everyone went to use them and they were like only this long. So then your feet showed all the time.
I know, I think we still have all of those somewhere tucked around. Actually, Keenan was making fun of me about that the other day, about
Yeah.
that, so
I actually had an idea. Now, with the quilts, I have a big like well not big, but like a staircase space that's
yeah,
blank that I had
yeah,
no idea what to do and I could that would actually look really nice.
that would, yeah. Brass and silver pieces, which are hugely collectible right now. Again, it goes back to that like dark academia style, having like the dripping candles and the candelabras and the candle holders, brass stuff.
So, I have a question about this
Yes.
because I don't even think we even talked about it cuz I kind of forgot about it. But when I went thrifting, so that's what I wanted. I wanted candlesticks, that same thing. You can put candles in, it looks nice, whatever. So I found silver ones, super heavy, like 3 ones and then matching. And I picked them up and then I looked at the bottom and it said that the base was lead.
Oh,
And so I was like, oh, frick. And I didn't know what to do because I really like them. I'm not
yeah.
eating off them.
No.
But then also it was silver coated with a lead base, which is what it
Mm,
said. But the
right.
silver had worn off. So now it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
do I use it? Do I not buy it? Like better safe than so like how do you get around that part? Because I feel like a lot of the vintage ones are silver coated lead.
Yeah, I don't actually find myself gravitating towards a lot of silver. So
Mm.
I don't know a lot about that kind of stuff. I kind of get drawn towards brass and that gold tones. But that might be something to do some research on, yeah, and find out.
Yeah, I looked it up like a little bit and it basically said like if you're not eating off it, it's fine. Just like
Yeah,
wash your hands after you handle it.
yeah,
But then it also said like if it looks like it's really worn and it's exposed, then
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
steer
pass up.
clear. And I just like because I have a toddler in the house, like it would be in the office, but I just don't want him to like ever accidentally pick it up and it's like in his mouth.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
that
I
might
don't
be
know.
something, if there's anybody that's watching or listening that has a lot of knowledge about that kind of stuff, drop some info in the comments, because I know a lot of people go to the comments, and maybe we can learn something if you are a
Yeah.
silver expert or you know something about that kind of stuff. So,
Because a full silver candlestick would be like so expensive.
yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But they are beautiful if you can find them. And
I know.
again, they're really great to flip and make some money on from
Hmm.
there.
Especially the
Uh,
brass ones.
yeah. And if you find things that I don't know what kind of material would they would be, but they look like brass, but they're not really brass. The rub and buff. Remember we just did that video on the rub and buff,
Mhm.
and you can use a little bit on that and it perks it up and makes it look nice.
Do they have a rub and buff that's like copper?
Yes, they do. Actually,
Mm.
rub and buff has probably, I think, around 8 to 10 colors that you can choose from.
Mm.
Yeah. And so you just have to look it up and see what you would want to use for the color. But I think that is an option. Yeah. Now comes one of your favorites for things you always buy at the thrift store is books.
Yes.
You are a book lover.
I buy books for reading
Yes.
because people buy a lot of people buy new books to read and then just give them away.
Yeah.
Which is so there's always if you're a reader, which you probably already know, there's always like newish books that you can find. But I have been getting vintage books for
Yes. For
decor, and I
decor.
have some
Yeah.
pretty cool ones that I've found.
Yeah. We have a thrift store. Now, Kirsten's arriving here on Friday and she's going to be here for
Mhm.
quite a few weeks. So I will take you to the thrift store that we have in town here because they have racks and racks of books. Every book that's there, five for a dollar.
Okay, well, what am I supposed to do with that?
Well, no, you just pick out ones that you want to read, but I guess
No,
you
but
can't.
like I can't take them home.
True. That's true, but you can help me pick out some for mine. I every time I go, I grab a handful because I love to use them as a decor. So I always grab some and then bring them home and use them. But
I
yeah,
also think it would be kind of cool because I went through. I there was like one thrift store that was like run by one of the churches, and so they always had old prayer books, like super like
mm,
1800s prayer books.
wow.
And I picked, and they look really cool. And I picked a bunch up a while ago, and I opened it up, and there was like handwritten stuff in it. It literally said like
Oh,
1869 or something.
wow.
And but my immediate thought was like when I was like 90 or whatever,
Yeah,
and I've passed away, kids are cleaning out my house, and they find this prayer book from like 1860. Do you
yeah.
not think they would be like, what the hell? Like, sorry, I probably shouldn't say that when I'm talking about church.
You're
But
gonna
they would
be
be like, this is haunted. Why does she have this? And then it would be this whole mystery of why I have this old prayer book and who's writing in
Yeah,
it,
but then
and I
think of
think it'd
the
be cool.
conversation. Think of the conversation that you've started there. Um, yeah, and the other thing that I love, love, love collecting, cookbooks. I never cook.
Mhm.
I never even use a recipe out of them, but I love them the way they look in a kitchen on a shelf.
'Kay, can I so I because I'm using one right now to hold up my laptop.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna move my laptop for a second.
Okay.
So look at this.
Is that a cookbook?
So
The
New
New York.
York I talked about it last time, the
Yeah.
New York Times cookbook.
Nice.
So look at that's fine, and then if you open it up also look at that green, like, on the
I
inside.
know. Very
So
regal.
you open it up. So the New York Times cookbook is like iconic. Like
Right.
it's still getting printed. So
Yes.
copyright 1961,
Okay.
printed in the United States.
Yeah.
That's the copyright. So this was
Does it
okay,
say?
yeah. So this is what it is. Sorry, I had a little blank because I was reading. So every 10 years they put out a New York Times cookbook
Oh, okay.
with recipes collected from the last 10 years that have been in because New York Times cooking is also
Yeah.
like I watch a lot. I made croissants this weekend from New York Times cookbook, like
Yeah.
cooking. That's where.
And they have a
So they,
channel.
hmm?
Is there a channel?
Yeah, they have a really good cooking YouTube channel, and a
Yeah.
lot of my chefs that I follow like pop in there and do
Yeah.
recipes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So they pick 10 or they pick recipes from the last 10 years that have been shown on the website or back then like their print magazine
Yeah.
and put them all in a cookbook.
Okay.
So, if I'm not mistaken, this was the first time they ever did that.
Oh,
So this is the first one.
Yeah.
Should I look that up right now? I'm gonna look at it. This podcast is gonna be an hour and a half long. New York
But it's
Times
interesting.
first
It's all these
cookbook.
great facts that,
First published in 1961. This is the first one that came out.
okay, so does it say how much it's worth?
Ow.
And see if it's valuable. Where's the book?
We're
Where's
gonna
the jacket cover? Was there a jacket cover for it?
I have the jacket cover. The jacket cover was a little damaged,
Was it?
and I took it off and just put it aside because I like
Okay.
the way this looked better.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't a the jacket cover was not in great shape.
Yeah.
Let me just
You're gonna do your
reverse
Google.
Google.
Yeah. Let's see what it says. And this is the thing that when you're at the thrift store, it takes a little bit of time to like root through the books and find, find stuff. But grab your phone, take pictures, and sometimes you can find some books that are really valuable tucked in between. The other thing, these aren't really things that you should always buy at the thrift store, but things that I have been buying at the thrift store all the time for books lately has been for Bodie and Carmen too. I've been buying kids' books
Yeah.
because they wreck them anyways. They're tearing pages or coloring in them. So I'm always going and I'm grabbing a handful of kids' books. And
So
yeah.
it's like $50.
Yeah. So there you go.
It's
Yeah.
not nothing, but that's something that I'll keep because it's really cool.
Yeah.
Look
Exactly.
at this. That's pure 1960s. What is that? A
Oh,
fish? A
that's like the
gelatinized fish?
classic. Yeah. The classic photos there. Yeah. And
If
anybody
I
that's on the
actually
podcast, you can imagine, the 1960s cookbook, what it looks like.
Oh, this is gross. A pink salmon mousse and clear what's aspic?
Aspic is like gelatin, I think.
In clear aspic served Okay. Pink salmon mousse in clear aspic is served with aspic coated stuffed eggs
No, thank you.
and
I'll
a dried
pass.
champagne. You know what would be cool though? Even just that, like if I found another one,
Yeah.
framing these
Framing them and
in
putting
your
them in your kitchen.
yeah.
Yeah. Good idea.
Sorry, I got excited about that.
The other thing is unique and vintage canisters. And I actually just did a video on a canister set, a wooden handmade set that I found. And it turned out beautiful. So they're another thing that you should always buy if you find a really good set at the thrift store, especially if you're looking for ceramic ones or glass ones, because so expensive to buy brand new. And I always see them at the thrift store. Always, always.
What's in your wooden canisters right now?
Nothing. Purely decor. Purely 100% decor.
Yeah. That's okay though.
Yeah.
That's something I never buy, but I don't have the counter space for them right now.
Yeah, I don't think yeah, I guess I've never really noticed that you've had. But I actually have a ceramic one in my coffee bar that I fill up with coffee and yeah, so I'm always looking for those. Leather
Mm.
goods. That's something if you see something of good quality, you should always pick up.
I have
Purses,
3 or 4 leather jackets that I got from the thrift store.
leather jackets, belts, 100% leather
Mhm.
belts. I don't know if you've priced a brand new leather belt lately. Expensive. So if you can look for
Mhm.
those, you can always find them. Um, and another thing is baskets.
Mhm.
They're not really worth a lot of money, but they're definitely people collect them. They're not as popular as they used to be. Remember when the basket walls were a big thing
Yeah, yeah.
and people were
When it was
collecting?
like farmhouse boho, very
Yeah, and
popular,
it's
yeah.
kinda dwindled a little bit, which leads to me having a whole chest full of, like, baskets and plates and stuff, but, yeah, and they're really good for storage,
Mhm.
for putting under beds, in your closet, and that just keeps things neat and tidy, and they're a fraction of the price of what you're gonna pay if you're heading to, like, TJ Maxx or Marshalls or someplace like that to buy baskets, you can find the exact same thing at the thrift store.
Yeah, they are kind of expensive. They're like
Yeah.
$30 each.
Yeah, I know, they can get really expensive. The only thing is if you have a spot where you need 3 baskets that are all kind of the same size and look the same, then you're kind of limited to what you're going to find. But if you don't care and you like kind of like the different textures of the baskets, you can always find them at the thrift store.
Yeah.
And number 10, this is the last thing on our list of things that you should always buy at the thrift store: tools and hardware.
Mm, that's a good one.
And I know, and I am actually, I don't so much anymore look for stuff because I have my whole kind of, I have all of my tools and I have most of the stuff that I need that I've collected. My pliers, screwdrivers, um, anything that I'm using to DIY, I would say 90% of it came from the thrift store. And always buying. The tools you have to be a little bit careful with because a lot of times tools get donated because they didn't work properly.
Mhm.
So you want to make sure that they're going to work properly. But that being the case, if you are in the market for tools that you want to DIY with, like just basic chop saw, jigsaw, sanders, go to your pawn shop. And
Yeah, I was gonna say that, or like Marketplace would probably be a good one for that.
yeah, yeah. But if you do find tools for a really good price and you don't need them, they are actually will flip really well on Marketplace for you to make some money on too.
Mhm. Yeah, I think just overall, like, I'm looking at all of this. All of these things brand new are getting so expensive.
Yeah.
And I think if you are reselling, you maybe now more than ever have a really, really good opportunity to make some pretty good money because like people are just getting priced out of buying new.
Yeah.
It's way too expensive to buy new furniture for when you get a house. Like it's way too expensive to buy all new kitchen stuff. So if you can get stuff that is very good quality at a fraction of the price from someone who has already curated it for you because you also don't have the time to go on hunt,
Yeah.
that's a really good opportunity. And people have been doing it forever, but I think there is going to be even more of an opportunity to do that, make some extra money, and just kind of be on top of the trends, be on top of what people like. But I know even me, like if I am looking for something, like say the gallery wall, like I would pay a little extra money if someone went and did spent that time for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And put something together and then bought it.
Hmm.
So all of these things that we mentioned today, of course, it's not always about just buying it and flipping it, making money. It's about being able to make a beautiful home that you love and you want to be in and not spend a fortune. And you can so easily, so easily.
Hmm. Yeah.
And every one of those things that we had on the list today, um, you can walk in the thrift store tomorrow with this list and find one of every one of those things.
Yeah. And just I think we talked about it last podcast was make a list, have your list when you're there at the podcast, er, at the
At the
podcast,
thrift store.
at the thrift store, and then you'll remember what you need to buy and you will just be better at being organized in that way.
Exactly. All right. Well, that was fun. That was a good chat.
Hmm.
And
I'm just seeing if our last one, if we had any questions, but I don't think we did.
no.
No, just people, because we had said what was the last thing you thrifted.
Yeah.
So
And
that was about it.
head into the comments if you're listening or watching and yeah, show us some love and support and let us know what your favorite thing is to buy at the thrift store.
Or if you are reselling, if you're a thrifter and a reseller, what are your tips? Do you have any
Yeah,
tips?
exactly, and share them. Okay, that's great. Good podcast, lots of fun.
One walnut?
No, thank you. All right, we'll see everyone in the next
Okay.
video or the next podcast. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Goodbye.